Here are some of the biggest takeaways that I got from going to the FFL Convention this past year and why your team is everything to help you hit 40K months and build your agency to $1 million a month. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5 years, we've helped 550 agents issue pay $40,000 per month. And on this video, I just try to break down tactics, strategies, and behaviors of those individuals, what they've done, and how you, as an agent or agency owner, can implement that into your business and what it means, right? So as always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's hop right into the video. For those of you all that do know, I don't even cut these videos. They are raw. I just send them to my team and we post them. It's my style of content. I kind of like this. It's more of like educational style. And I just get on here and freestyle. So hopefully you all like the content. I've heard from a lot of people they do like it, and the raw, authentic way in which we, do business, I try to conduct myself. So I want to talk about I went to the FFL convention this past weekend. For those that don't know, I was at FFL as an agent. I'm currently not actively selling. I do still have my license. That may be something I get into in the future. Be transparent. It does often ponder in my mind. But today I want to talk about why the number one theme that I learned from the convention this time around, and I kind of knew it before, but I didn't fully understand the importance of it, I think, until I listened to everybody speak, is that your team is everything for you to hit $40,000 a month. Now, let me give a quick backstory. Right, so I know a lot of and work with a lot of agents and agency owners at FFL, which is the company, and just name dropping, not to brag or boast or anything, but I think it's a dope company. And one of the things that I've noticed quickly is over the years since I started with a lot of the people that I was running with as an agent, they have built really big businesses, really big agencies in the space. And the theme that I think that happened is they are how to say this in the most. They understood that the idea of compounding effect for their team, but more importantly, that them creating a team would allow them to duplicate success. Now, a lot of people are like, all right, Trey, well, what does that mean? It sounds like you're going around in circles. No, what I'm trying to get at is I went to a Mavs game with one of my clients, and then I went to and I talked to a lot of people at conventions I've known for years. And I kept hearing the same exact thing over and over. First of all, number one, they didn't really talk about themselves. So the selflessness of these leaders was amazing. They talked about all their people. Now, here's the thing that I understood, right? I understood that compounding effect of wanting others to succeed. Okay. Now this goes in twofold. All right. So this was at the event, but also at a dinner with my mentor and my team. Now, I try to talk about real life things and why it makes sense to me. So I thought back to I was never consistently issue paying $40,000 a month. Let's make that very, very clear. I've never said that on the record. I've done 30 to 40K as an agent. That was an annual premium. I was not doing 40 to 50K a month. I wasn't. I'm just be transparent. Not that I could not have, but with the football schedule and me pursuing the NFL and not being like me being able to give it everything, that just probably was not going to happen. Could I have made it happen? Yes. There's no excuses. And not to say, I was this. It's like, no, I was not. Here's the thing that I did notice though. All the people that consistently issue pay $40,000 a month have one thing in common. And I talk about all the time. It's their mindset. Now, where does that mindset come from? Right? It comes from the team, the culture that's being created. Now, I have a video where I talk about the compounding effect and how you over time by showing up every day. So what leading from the front really is, if you do it properly, it is creating the compounding effect. It is that you show the behaviors, tendencies, and practices that create an outcome that everybody desires. Let's say said team wants to do, each person comes in that wants to do $50,000 a month. I think a lot of times people think, I want to build my agency to $1 million or $2 million or $3 million or $4 million or whatever. And they're like, I'm going to just, recruit a bunch of people and not pour into each person. Here's the thing. There's really two ways to scale, right? And this affects how much money your agents make. Way number one, right? So there's two. This is what I've known. But after talking to all the different agency owners, I could literally tell the difference. And I don't think there's a right or wrong in either one. Just depends on what you want, right? Number one is to scale with more writers. Okay. Number two is to scale with more personal production per writer. All right. Now, for some people, they think that these two go together. And I think there isn't a way where they can. I'm not saying they cannot. What I am saying, though, is that the most consistent way for agents to make money is with set option 2. The more consistent way to grow is with said number 1. And the people that crush it do both. All right. Now, I think that you leading from the front is what number 2 really is. You cannot really lead from the front and scale with more writers on the back end and do number 1. And that's what a lot of people from other companies even do. And it's not a horrible thing. It just depends on which one you want. Now, I think that your team is so important in creating that $40,000, $50,000 a month, because if you can go out and write 50, 60, 70K and show people how to do it, then if your goal is to set them to get there, if they fall below it, they still hit 40 and then they issue whatever. And then they're bringing, because here's the thing, in the life insurance space, what I've noticed is that really, if you're making money is about 30K a month, like when you're kind of making money, that's an annual premium. So issue pay could be like 17 to 18. Then after you do everything else you need to do, you're going to walk away with like 10 grand a month that you can like put into your bank account. Now, $100,000 is not crazy depending on where you're at, but that's kind of like, you're semi doing something. If you're making less than that, you are not really getting above the line, just being honest. Like if you're not hitting, 30, 40, 50K months, you're just kind of getting above it. And I'm only saying that because I would do like 30 to 40 an annual premium and bring home like 17 sometimes. And then after all my stuff, I'd bring home like 8 because I was spending way too much on leads. I was personally, based off my, if I was doing better, which goes back to what I said about holding myself accountable, I would have made more, not in regards to per sale, but I would have just made more overall sales. Now, the reason why there's the two ways to scale are so important is because when you scale with more personal production per writer, it's a little bit more attractive to get people, because that person who makes a lot of money, they can do what? Do a lot of things with the money, show it, right? You have, what's it called? Not branded marketing, but basically like I forget what it's called, but when you post like on social media, oh, I'm doing well, and I have these cars and clothes and stuff like that. And attraction marketing. There we go. I'm sorry, brain fart. Attraction marketing is going to bring in more people because you can show that you're making more, right? When you scale with more writers, you show you have a really big team and you got a lot of big numbers on paper, but you don't really make a lot of money, right? Now, both are viable because if you're just kind of solo, it's kind of like, maybe he's not a good leader. Somebody can interpret that. And then number 1 could be like, oh, well, I have a lot of people. They don't really know if they're going to make that type of money until they get into the opportunity. Now, the people that were on stage, the people that were at the event that were absolutely crushing it, there was tons of them doing their thing, mad kudos to them. They were doing both of these, right? They're scaling with more writers because they were posting on social media, engaging with people, literally every single person with a pulse they were trying to recruit. And they were writing their butts off, right? So then if they're writing 50, 60, then their agents will be making, 30, 40, 50. And then you create that culture because now it's like, all right, we start at 7:30, right? Here's one thing I noticed, like different teams do different things. We start at 7:30, we dial at 8, blah, blah. We start at 8. There's like, this is what we do. There's a standard that is set. And that's the theme I'm trying to get to. There is a standard that's set for the teams that produce the same type of people. If you look at the lineages, and there's nothing wrong, but if you look at the top producers, they're typically from the same agency line. Why is that? If everybody has the same opportunity in regards to the same products, the same carriers, and there's a because think about it, remember, life insurance is like mini businesses. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't really it's like your people that work with you aren't really like, they're not really, they're your employees. They're just 1099. So you're kind of like building little mini businesses. The frame that I got that blew my mind is I kind of looked at it less like life insurance and more like mentorship. It's kind of like when you get somebody that wants to work with you and help you build, your override is almost like the mentorship fee they paid up to for you to mentor them. So it's like when you start, it's 80 grand or not 80 grand. They're at maybe 80%. You're at 140, so 60% spread. But it's like as they grow, depending on how much they need and what they learn from what you tell them, they earn their way to get to whatever you're at, right? And meet you or beat you or whatever it is. So it makes sense when you think about it. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And I think that frame even helped me as somebody who was like, hey, I might want to do this again in the future because I didn't think about it like, oh man, my team that I built, like I should. It's like, no, you kind of shouldn't. You think about it's like you pay mentorship for 1 year, typically, right? 6 months, 1 year, maybe 2. Then at those 2 years up, you kind of don't really need them, respectfully, not in a bad way. Just like you learn what you need to learn. You paid your whatever. And it's like, well, if you think about it, it's like you should find other ways to make money. Or if that person always needs you, then they're not even ignorance, but like their lack of skill or knowledge about what they need you for. If they don't need you anymore, then you don't really deserve to make that. Doesn't really make sense. If they do everything on their own, they deserve to do that. And then they build so it's like, when you think about it, it's like mentorship breeds mentorship breeds mentorship. So instead of thinking this is my downline or whatever, it's like, this is just my mentee. Like you're just a mentee. And then when you begin, it's like, all right, cool. You're not my mentee anymore, bro. Like you got it. So I didn't think if I was doing that, like that's how I'd frame it. Like, all right, cool. There's a spread. And the way we look at spreads is, spread means that there's some sort of gap between where you're at and where you're trying to go. As you close that gap and you build your team, etc., then my spread goes away. So eventually, you don't need me anymore, and then you go off. And then I have to go on and get more mentors. So I think when I look at it like that, I'm kind of like, yo, that's dope. Because one of my mentors, Pushman Mitch, who I've mentioned, he does a lot of mentorship, and I was like, man, he still makes his money, which would be me still making money from Agent Lead Lab, anything else outside the zoo. But then I also have this because then it's like, why would I be like, oh, I don't want to keep writing? It's like, so the frame, right, that I was thinking through, and I'm kind of going on a tangent here, so bear with me. But it also ties into what I mean about the team is the frame I was thinking through is, let's see here, and I'll write it out so that way it kind of makes a little bit more sense. So your downlines are your mentees, right? Then your mentees gain everything and no longer need you. For example, you got a 1 year mentorship or 1 year of 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 spread, then it's over, right? When you pay for mentorship, you drop 100 bands. So if you think about it like that, that makes a lot more sense. Like when I frame it, I was like, wow, that makes sense, right? Like if you pay $100,000 for mentorship, then that's the thing. So it's like when you start, you're making 5K, whatever off of whatever they make. And then eventually as they grow and they build their agency and they get to whatever it is, you don't make any more. It's like, why do you feel obligated? It's like, that's dumb. And now that I think about it, I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, well, because people are lazy. The next thing I thought about, right, is like you want to not have opportunity or not have to work. That's lazy. I'm thinking about myself like, that means like, oh, I don't want to keep having to sell. It's like, all right, maybe I get it to a point, but you have to keep doing something. You got to speak. You got to be engaged. I'm like, whoa. I'm like selling myself right now even on it because it's all about frames. Like if I think about it, it's like I'm looking at it wrong. I'm like, oh, well, I feel like I should build it and have to do it. It's like, bro, that's never going to happen. It's like Elon Musk still works, right? But like there's all these people that are still working. They're still putting in work every day. Now their work changes a little bit, but I'm thinking in my mind, like, that kind of makes sense, right? Like I don't see why I wouldn't want to do that. So I sell that to say that, you're leading from the front, you're building a team, you're growing. So it's like, why would you not feel like you should have to be involved in work? And if you can create that work, you will show people, and then that will allow them to believe, and then they will make 40, 50K, right? They will continue to grow. and expand. But that team is everything. If your team does not have a culture of people hitting 40, 50K, 30K, and that's not like the standard, then it's like, what are you doing? That's how I look at it. It's like, what am I actually doing to prepare myself for what I'm saying that I want? I'm saying that I want to hit this, but I'm not in the team or environment that's doing that. Now, for those that are like, well, Trey, I don't have a team, because I can hear that right into this video. Hey, Trey, this is all great, but I literally don't have a team. Here's how I look at it. So if you don't have a team, here's what you can do. All right. Number one, you just move. All right. Now move to another team or ask to be traded. If you want to look at it like that. Now, will everybody let you do that? Absolutely not. Am I saying that you should jump a team for the sake of like wanting better comp? No. What I'm saying is that if your team doesn't produce beasts, like people that are crushing it, then no, do not leave. Don't ask to be traded. If you're on a team where people are killing it, meaning you're around people that are doing 40, 50, it doesn't even matter, 30, 40, 50, whatever you want to do, right? Whatever your goal, it doesn't have to be 40K. That's just the number I use because that's what a lot of our people do. If you are around people that are doing that and you're not, you need to look yourself in the mirror. You need to ask, am I actually doing all the things that they're doing? Now, here's the thing. Most people say, I am doing the things they're doing. I'm calling the same leads. I'm dialing at the same time. There are things they are doing and they are not doing. There are also things that you don't know that unless you ask, you won't know. So for example, if you're not asking them like, oh, how did you do this? And they're telling you exactly what to do. If you decide not to do it, that is 1,000% on you. It is like, there's no other way to explain it. It's like, it's 1,000% on you. So if that's the case, then it's like, don't just leave to leave. But if you're around and there's nobody making money, then yes, leave. I think you should leave. If you're around and there's nobody on your team making money and you can't find anybody like even relatively close that you can reach out to or ask, like you're like, yo, Trey, I'm watching you, but I don't really know anybody crushing it like this. You're saying $40,000 a month. I have no idea of anybody who's really doing 30K. There's like, or 20K or even 10K, like income. You need to go to a different company. Truthfully, like that has nothing to do with anything except for like, you're just at the wrong company. I'll be honest. Somebody can be mad about that. Being honest. If you can't find anybody within arm's reach, and by arm's reach, I just mean like you could DM them, reach out to them, and you're like, yo, I don't even know people doing $10,000 a month with my company. You need to leave. Point blank, period. Find another opportunity. All right. The second thing you can do is stay and be the change. All right. Now, it's a disclaimer. It's for the dogs only. If you are not a dog, if you do not have that mentality, if you cannot go into a room and change the room, this is not for you. This is probably the least likely one that I would recommend that you do. All right, I'll just put in there least or less likely. No, least. Oh, least option and last option. All right, least option and last option. You guys know what I mean. Like least likely to do. I would not recommend that this is something you consider as like top priority. I would change environments before you do anything because I talk about this a lot. Like literally, this is like, yo, I can't move. They won't let me move. What, like yada, yada, yada. And it's like, all right, now you got to be the change. Now, what does that look like? That looks like changing up and still going online to find people who are doing what you want to do. And even if you can't reach out to, which, by the way, this is kind of like almost impossible because if you are unable, let me say, when I say almost impossible to say you cannot talk to anybody. It's just a matter of, do you want to do what it takes to speak to that person? Right. So the thing about life insurance is just cool. Is like, they're not really like celebrities. So like if you DM them, they're probably going to hit you back because they're either going to try to recruit you or they're always in their DM. So this is not that industry where it's like, oh yeah, I'm too good. Like I'm a coach or whatever. Like, dude, they're going to hit you back. I promise you they will. This is not one of those industries. The thing though is what is your ask? So if you're like, hey, bro, basically train me and do all this stuff, but I'm not gonna be your team, they're gonna look at you sideways, right? The ask is, hey, man, I want to come work with you, or they will not let me go. Like, can you help me? And if they cannot, be like, all right, well, in the meantime, or if they tell me it takes 6 months, like, is there anything, like, if I have to sign something, whatever, like, you have to be willing to do whatever. I look at it in my mind and I'm like, all right, if I was to start selling again, where would I go? Man, I built so many relationships. I would have to lay it out on a piece of paper and be like, all right, what am I looking for? What's my goal? Where am I trying to go? But if you don't have those options, then you have to ask yourself, like, okay, I don't have those options. So here's what I can do. I can focus on, let me find the people that I want to model my, I say game, but my life insurance style after. Then let me go mimic those people. Whatever those people are doing, just follow that, right? And if you cannot, get in contact with them, then just try your best to mimic off of whatever YouTube and stuff content they have. But truthfully, there is a way. I don't even want to say you cannot. It's just like, if they don't respond, once again, that is extremely unlikely. But for those people that will not listen to me and will not actually go out and do what I just said, I'm still going to give you your own excuse, unfortunately, because that's the world we live in, and people want excuses all the time, to say that you can just watch the videos and still write the stuff down. Here's the key, though. None of this stuff's going to actually work if we don't go back to the first thing I've said weeks ago, months ago, and I live by, is if your mentality is not there, none of this really matters, right? If you're going to try to move to another team, but you're like soft and like you're not diligent and you don't work hard, it doesn't matter. Those people probably won't take you. And if they do, you still won't be successful. I know tons of people who are in, it doesn't matter what vehicle you're in, just work the vehicle. Like, I tell people all the time, people are like, yo, I'm in a Mercedes, but I want to be a McLaren. Yo, I'm in a Honda and I want to be in a whatever. It's like, or they're in the economy. It's like, yeah, I'm in a Toyota Camry and I want to go to a Honda Accord. It's like, bro, you're kind of doing the same thing. Like, you think you're not going from a Honda to a McLaren or a Honda to a Rolls Royce. And then people think even that, oh, I'm gonna go from a Honda to a Rolls Royce and I'm gonna get there faster. It's like, nah, bro, like you're kind of not. Like, there's still roads, there's still stoplights, like maybe. But then again, it still depends on the driver. And truthfully, you probably won't, because you don't really know what you're doing. If you haven't learned how to manage the Honda, when you get a McLaren, you're just gonna go crazy. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna speed and do all this stuff. You get a ticket, you'll slow down on your road to wherever you're trying to go, and you can only go so fast, right? It's not like you're still in a car, right? Like, people think like, oh, I'm gonna go for being in a car to getting in a helicopter, or being in a helicopter to getting in a plane, right? No, that's not how it works in this situation, because what you're trying to do is leave something that isn't broke. Like, there's nothing wrong with the car. There's literally nothing wrong with your team or there's people that are crushing it. Like, if you were crushing it and you were like, man, I should be making more because my comp level is really low, that's a different conversation. We're just talking about people hitting 40K. That has nothing to do, relatively speaking, with your comp level. Because I'm not talking about you have to hit 40K to issue pay. I'm just saying you hit 40K. You sell $40,000 worth of life insurance. Let's make it even more easy or more straightforward. Right? So there's not only two options. Right? You go to another team or ask to be traded within your organization or leave the IMO or company that you're with. I don't think that this is a good move all the time. If the reason that you're leaving is just tied to there isn't anybody else there that's doing it. Like, if there's other people there that are doing it, I would never recommend that you leave. But if there's nobody there and you cannot leave for whatever reason, then you stay and you become the change and you follow the behaviors and patterns from afar to figure out what those people are doing. And that is all that you need, right? Now, when you get in that environment, what you're going to notice is you just have to follow exactly what the people at the top are doing. And you have to ask them, and you have to do every single thing they do. And then you will eventually get what they have. It is super simple. Be, do, have. It's a principle, biblical principle. Become the person, right? Be. I am XYZ. What does XYZ do? Let's do, right? Okay, I'm going to do those things. Once I continue to do those things over and over and over again, I will have the things that they have. Most people think it's just do, have. It's not correct. There's still the be. Why the be? The be is tied to the mindset. Now, there's an argument to say that if you just do, you'll shape the mindset. And to an extent, there is some truth to that. But absolute truth is that you have to become that person. What does that person do? How do they move? What do they say? How do they carry themselves? And then you'll start doing those actions. Hope that makes sense. As always, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Once again, you can go to agentleadlab.com. That is going to be our main website. If you go to book a call and you're an agency owner, you can book an Apex strategy session. Packages start from 5K to 10K on a retainer plus ad spend, right? Super simple. You have to have an agency that's doing, 300 plus a month and 20 or 2 to 4 writers writing about 20 to 40K. We want that because if you don't have the money for it to make sense. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of y'all just want something and you're just not ready. I'm not even going to be rude. I'm just going to call it what it is. If you're an agency owner and you still are like, I kind of want to partner, but I don't have $5,000, but you have dogs and you don't really need the ad, by the way, with that $5,000, it's ads, go high level. I'm not going to waste your time. If you are somebody who's like, I don't want all that, bro. I just want fire leads from a whole team, which there are people that are like that. We have a partnership model where we discount our leads a little bit based on volume. That will help you drastically as you continue to scale. In order to apply for that, you do have to actually try our leads out and we have to know that you're good. We're not going to let anybody in do that. And you're not good because then we're just losing money and you're just demoing stuff. Absolutely not going to happen. You're going to pay for the leads at price, right? We're going to see how you do as an agent. Are you good? If you are good at that point, we will then decide, hey, this might be a good idea for us to partner up. The next thing is going to be our regular leads. You can go to leadlabcrm.com. We've got $1 up to $55 leads. We are moving some of our pricing around, just being transparent in a good way because we are creating new leads and we're adding more things to our leads and making adjustments even to our aged leads to make things even better for our clients, right? So you can go there, you put in the lead request. Please do not just click around. Y'all, all the information is on there. If you're going to click lead request, you're going to pay. Don't waste our time. Just being honest. But as always, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Let's have a great week.